No problem.
Okay.
I'm
So,
patient.
okay, okay. I would like to welcome you to share your experience with your life experience, Dhamma teaching. So please, you have to manage because of I have an issue with language. So you speak more, I speak less. Okay,
Okay, we try.
okay. So first of all, I want to ask you about yourself. Where you born? How your childhood? How were your relationships with others? You can start with this.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Okay. Well, so although I'm an English speaker, this is my foreign language because originally I come from Belarus, and this was a Soviet Union country at that time when I was born. I was born in the end of 1981, so now I'm 44 years old, and I grew up in Belarus, and I always had kind of this inquisitive mind. I always wanted to know, to discuss, to know deeply. But my country is not a Buddhist country. There is no deep knowledge, deep understanding. And also, it is not really a religious country in any other sense. It is not even much of a Christian country. It is Christian country, but the religion was not practiced because it was a communist country at that time. So communism was promoting the system, not the spirit, not the religion, not the heart. So my family is not religious. Neither my mother nor my dad were really into any particular, um I would say, flow of following something. We lived just circular life, a regular family where I also have an older brother. He's older than me 7.5 years. So now we don't feel this difference, but when I was a child, of course, there was a big difference. So he was kind of an example for me because he has moved a few steps forward. He advanced in his development, of course, for 7 years difference. So he was my uh, older brother and a friend, and I tended to follow him and to listen to his advice. And I would say that kind of a development for me started at my age of 13. When I was 13, I remember this was a teenage time, and I was interested in some relationships at school and boys and girls, and this was my brother who gave me advice. And I remember that he taught me that if I really want something, I should try and get it, because if I never try, I will never know whether it is possible or not. So at least I should dare trying. So this was the first time when I was very timid and shy, but I decided to try things and to speak up and to say what I want. And in this way, I changed my shyness into doing, into an initiative. And this is a quality also that allowed me later in my older life to take many experiments in life and to dare trying and inquiring. And in my younger years, as I said, I had an inquisitive mind, but also I had this strong eagerness for the truth. I always tried to be truthful and to prove the situation and the truth to everyone. But of course, my truth was only one sided. It was the truth from my side, from my view, from my opinion, from my conditions, which now with learning Dhamma, I understand that this is actually not very right. Everybody is truthful from their own side, seen from their experience and directed from their conditions. But this is why actually wars happen, because everyone knows their own truth, and their truth is right and others' truth is wrong. and then we kind of cluster and we fight and we don't accept the other, and we really want to stand for our opinion because it is based on me, I, mine. We possess our opinion, we possess our own truth, and we want to prove it to the others, and then we just create the conflicts with the others. So this was kind of a picture of me before I started to understand and learn Dhamma. That I also felt that truth is most important, and I was always trying to bring everyone around understanding that this is true, so we should be doing like this, doing differently is wrong. And I was quite a conflictual person with this strong character that everybody should understand and I should prove it, and no matter that it may hurt, no matter that others may disagree, no matter that others may be tired or unwilling to listen, I would really strongly insist that if this is the truth, I should push more. This is something that changed a lot since I encountered Dhamma and I practice Dhamma. So you see, you asked me to speak about purely childhood, but my mind is made in this way that I can't speak about something which is just childhood, just facts, just stories. I always bring it anyway to discuss deeper.
Yes, yes. You said you don't have any religion in your country. So how you connect with every religion? How you know about Buddhism? First time.
Mm-hmm. So there is Christianity in my country. That is just people don't follow it a lot, not fully. People maybe in smaller villages, yes, but not in the capital city. It is much less. Now, maybe since we are free from communism, people do go to churches and maybe they search for some spirituality. But this was not the case many years before. So I should tell you that when I graduated from the university in 2004, I got married and I went to live in Israel because my husband was a Jew and he was a Russian Jew. He came from Moscow. And I came to live in Israel for 5 years because our relationship wasn't very happy, wasn't very successful. So I had to leave eventually the country. But this was the religion that I also connected to. As much as I knew about Christianity, and even at certain point in my life, I asked my parents to take me to the church and Christianize me, but I couldn't find really answers maybe to my questions, and I couldn't find the stability of my life with the Christianity at that time. This happened maybe like when I was at school at 13, 15 years old, that I was looking for some support, something other, and I knew that some other children, they're Christians. I want to be Christian too. So it was kind of a first interest to be someone else, not just a human being. And when I lived in Israel, I also connected deeply to Judaism. So I studied Judaism a lot. This was also a discipline that I studied in my university. And this was very interesting and very fulfilling. And there is a lot of wisdom which I found. And this was the first time when I felt that we can let go of our own wish, our own desire, and we can trust the God. We can just entrust our life because we are too little and too small to know this universe, to know this life. So we should be able to abandon our own desire to know by ourselves and try to follow the wisdom of the God. And some practices in Judaism were quite interesting that now knowing Dhamma, practicing meditation, practicing mindfulness, I can see the link that even Judaism actually, but by not speaking about mindfulness, they actually develop mindfulness too by bringing some obligations on how you should do some activities or how you should not do some activities. So you should be mindful in order to follow this doing or not doing. So, but then when I left Israel and I came back to Belarus, it was 2010 already that I came to Belarus. Uh, I had a lot of suffering in my mind because the love that I followed, it didn't make me happy. My life with the person who I loved didn't succeed. I had to leave the country back to return to Belarus. I had to leave the person who I loved, and I had also to leave all my dreams that now, after graduation, I become an adult, I leave the family of my parents, I build my own family, I'm starting my adult life, I can do the best of myself. I know better, I know to do better than my parents. I had many illusions, many ideas about my new life. And then this life collapsed, and I felt really destroyed, and I felt a lot of suffering. At that time, I had to come back to my country, to Belarus, 5 years later, when I didn't work already in that country, when I already separated from my friends, when I already missed some processes of the country development in that time, when I made my friends in Israel, when I adopted that culture, when I learned the language, when I worked there, I installed there. So also my heart, my love, and also my stability that I built around myself in Israel all collapsed. And I was 28 years old at that time. I lived Belarus. I was 24, and then yeah, maybe 29 I was when I came back to Belarus. So it was a complete disaster for me, and it was very difficult. I had a lot of suffering. I couldn't accept. I was struggling. I was trying to take back whatever I lost, and even it influenced my health. I was grasping so much the experience of my life that I didn't want to let go, that I started to be constipated because I was not letting go anything. So my body was just tensed and holding everything and not letting go. So also mentally, also physically, I was suffering. Also, I was crying a lot, and my parents, they didn't know to accept what was happening in my life. They were unhappy that their daughter is not succeeding in their life. They were unhappy to see me unhappy. They didn't know better. They didn't know better than me. So they were quite unsupportive. They were telling, why do you cry? You shouldn't cry. You can't help anything by your tears. So I couldn't even express myself emotionally. So I had to just close, close, and close again. And at that time, I felt that I'm really so unhappy that there is nothing to do. Even we went to a psychologist together with my ex-husband. It was helping for me, but he couldn't make a change. He couldn't change. And psychologist was then asking from me forgiveness that she couldn't help our couple. She could see the effort that I made, and I really saw how to how I needed to abandon my ego in the relationship, how I needed to change. So I made those necessary steps. But unfortunately, my ex-husband, he couldn't make those steps, so we couldn't continue together. And at that time, I was suffering and feeling that no matter how much I could try and change myself, anyway, this was not helping me. This was not making me happy. So whatever I do doesn't help. I cannot control this life. I cannot control whatever I love, whatever I like, whatever I want to have. I cannot keep it. Nothing I can keep, nothing I can influence, nothing I can do, even though I try hard and even though I really abandon my ego and do the work that depends on me, still I'm unhappy. So this was the real suffering that I learned by my own experience, that I can say already brought me to Dhamma, brought me closer to Dhamma. But at that time, there was no one around who would tell me that, yes, suffering is the teaching of Buddha. Suffering is the first noble truth. Suffering is something that we need to understand and accept. Suffering is the basics of life. Nobody could tell this to me, but I felt like this. And feeling so bad for so long time, being almost depressed. I was just feeling that I can't struggle anymore. I can't fight for happiness anymore. I can't do anything anymore. I will just accept that I'm unhappy. I will just stop trying to be happy. I just accept unhappiness is basics, is the default setting of my life. And I'll just continue like this, whatever. It can't be worse because I already accept that everything is bad, that I can't be happy, so I just accept it. So at some level, I see that I must have learned Dhamma in my previous lives, since now, even without teaching of Dhamma, I could see, understand, and accept. But at this time, as I said, there was nobody to teach me. It was only a few years later when I tried to settle my life back in Belarus. I worked and I was very successful at my work, and there was very good money, and there were business trips in Europe and in America and everywhere, and very good, comfortable life. But I still felt that something was missing, that only good work and good money is not enough. As much as I was involved and interested in doing my job, it was intellectual property. I was working for a computer game company, and I was protecting the ideas that they were creating with attorneys and lawyers from America and from England. I was using their help, their advice, because I myself have no legal education. I was learning languages. I was just a translator, interpreter, simultaneous interpreter for English, Hebrew, the language of Israel, and German. So I had no other education, but due to my high knowledge of languages and due to my openness of the mind, they hired me for this position where I could be managing the projects with the lawyers. And then I started learning little by little. So I was deeply involved in my work, and it was also interesting and also rewarding, but something was missing. So when something was missing, people told me, somehow I learned, I make a story shorter. There are many more moments in that period when my mind was formed, when detachment was preparing.
Which
Yeah, I don't
experience
think I
is
should go.
important, which the perspective of Dhamma you can share.
But many details. Maybe once, if you share this, if some people get interested, we can touch this story again and I will give more details.
Okay.
But like this, I will get to the main points because otherwise it will be so long. Because Dhamma really builds everything moment by moment. So at some point, some people recommended me to go and travel to India as a spiritual country, as a country which gives a lot of change to the mind, to the experience. So once I traveled to India for 1 month, but at that time I felt so limited. I felt that this ticket back was really annoying and was really depriving me of the experience that I can get. In India, I met people, other travelers, who traveled without their ticket back, who spent already 3 months, 5 months, and I saw how much free they were, how much they could be just free in their experience, that wherever they come, they don't have ticket in after 3 days to another place. They come to live and to experience, and they meet people and they live their life, they live their karma there. And as much as they feel, they stay. And whenever they feel it is over, they would go to another place. So this was something that showed me how much I limit myself by some dates and tickets and time and this idea on the mind that I should go, I should change, I should leave. Something is happening, something is natural, but I must leave. So it created real discomfort in my mind. So when I came back to my work, I couldn't let go. I couldn't forget all this experience of my time in India. And I felt that I also need to go with one-way ticket without thinking to come back. Only then I can live fully. But my job was very rewarding job. It was giving good money, good position, and good perspectives, good career. So it was not just a standard decision to give up such a job and just to go to India. But the process started inside of me, and I couldn't already do anything with it because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't just pass a day without thinking about this idea. And soon, maybe 3 months later, after my return, I already announced to my management that I was thinking to go traveling, to leave a job and go traveling, and then I would come back, but I can't know when. Maybe in half a year, like this. They were surprised. They made some jokes of me. They told me, "Oh, you come there, you go to the Himalayas, you stay with the monks and nuns, you lead holy life." They were making jokes, but this is what became true in the end. So I left my job, and sometime later, I still worked. I still taught some other people who could continue doing my task. And then in September 2013, I left my job and I came to India. And I spent 5 months in India, really without any particular plan, without any big experience, without any support of anyone. I just had some money that I saved from my work. And I decided to travel very cheap style so that I can travel as long as possible. So at that time, I even experienced sometimes sleeping on the bench. Like I see some Indian people sleeping on the bench in a park. Sometimes I would sleep like this if I needed only one night and then I continued traveling to another place. Sometimes I slept at the railway stations,
Yeah.
same like Indian people. And I had also a good chance to meet some people who have better position in their life, who invited me in their house. They have helpers at their house. They have a driver. So I could also live at a better level of life, same as in the street, same as in luxury houses. So I could taste different India. And of course, I was coming to Varanasi, the holy city, and I was standing next to the Ganges River. And I was just asking the Ganges River, telling that I don't know anything about life. I don't know anything, but I know the suffering. I suffer so much. I can't let go of my suffering. Please take this suffering away and give me some clues how to live my life. I really want to lose myself fully because this one is not happy. This one doesn't know anything. I want to lose everything that I know and I want to start anew. So, like this, I traveled in India and I started meeting different guru, Hindu guru, and I never knew who was the real one, who was the fake one, because we know there are many fake gurus in India. But I trusted my life that whatever situation it brings me, I can't go any bad because I experienced bad already. So I just trusted that whatever happens, this is what should happen. And this is another thing where I can go deeper and tell more, but we should detach from stories,
Okay.
just stories. Yes,
I,
so at
one
certain
thing,
point,
one thing you said interesting. I saw your past video, very, very past video when you are not a nun. Your past video you said about India that people react uh, where is karma reacts. He go traffic like
mm,
this. I saw that video. Very, very interesting
uh,
perspective about you, about your
yes,
perspective is
yes,
very different than others. Everybody,
mm,
everybody, not like this. They're not following rules. They're going traffic going anywhere he want to go. So that perspective, you have that perspective naturally, or you read some spiritual practice you are doing, or this is your natural perspective.
right. This is how my mind works. Yes, my mind looks for wisdom everywhere, looks that if something exists, we can learn from this.
Even in chaos, you can learn.
Yes, Yes, like this. So in my YouTube channel, there are many videos from the time when I was a traveler.
Yes, yes.
If
I
we go back,
yes,
there are many videos. So
yeah,
a lot of sharing, a lot of discovery that I was finding.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
So this at that time that some of the travelers mentioned to me about Vipassana, that there is a practice of Vipassana that exists, that this is something that we discover with the mind, this is something that opens to us some deeper truths, deeper understanding. So I heard this information and I thought that I might want to experience myself once. So I was directing little by little my trip to come somewhere and learn about this. And in a way, my first Dhamma experience happened in Dharamshala. This is where Dalai Lama is, but I wasn't coming to Dalai Lama. I was coming to a meditation center, Tushita. This is a very nice meditation center where many foreigners come to learn about Buddhism because they have a course which is called Introductory Course to Buddhism. So in this course, you can get the information, first information about Buddha, about Dhamma, about meditation, about the mind, how the mind functions, how we live in the illusion. First, uh, taste of meditation, just half an hour, not to learn, and that they can guide you how to meditate, they can direct your mind. So this is very easy for a newcomer. And already at that time, we had a session where we could ask questions and give answers from hear the answers from the monks, from the teachers, and also they were offering to us some topics for contemplation. Contemplation about I. Who is I? How can you know? Is it this body? Is it this profession? Is it this traveler? What is this I? Try to meditate and contemplate and search for this I. And then we would share our experience. So at that time, at that first course, one teacher told me, I can see you will continue with Dhamma because you have very serious approach and you have very good potential for understanding Dhamma. The questions that you ask, they're very specific questions, questions of wisdom. And the answers that you yourself are given from your own contemplations, they're very interesting, very different from others. We see that you really contemplate. Yes. So already at that first course, I got very interested, and also I heard this feedback, which was surprising to me. I didn't know that my thinking is different from thinking of others, but it appeared to be so. So since then, I started looking for different meditation retreats. I left India, I went to Sri Lanka. In Sri Lanka, I found already to visit some Buddhist places. Then in Thailand, I made my 7 days meditation retreat where it was more already to even meditate, not only listen to information, but even especially more meditate, practice. And then after Thailand, there was Burma, where I came to Burma just traveling, and occasionally I found this Tabarwa center and I met my master at that time.
Occasionally.
It was just out of traveling. I was more wondering about what is here, what is there. Some foreigner German guy who was staying in Tabarwa, he invited me to come, saying, you can come and stay for free. And as a traveler with one-way ticket, I wanted to spend less money. So I say, oh, I can stay for free, I can eat for free, and also I can stay with monks and nuns. Such an amazing experience. I can write about this in my blog, I can make videos about this. This is, at that time when I traveled, it was 2013, 14, and 15, so 2 years. During 2 years, I traveled. Uh, Blogging and videos, it wasn't so popular yet. And traveling like this wasn't popular yet. It was 12 years ago. It is now very popular. Many bloggers, many videos, they all make money on this. I was not making money. I was just sharing the experience, discovering by myself and sharing. And I thought, this will be wonderful. Burma is already a country which is not known. Not many tourists come there. And then coming to a monastery and staying with monks and nuns and for free. what else can I want? So this was really kind of by chance, but nothing happens by chance, everything happens by karma. Because when I came there and I met Sayadaw Tamasara, my teacher, and I heard him teaching, explaining about the truth, he was speaking a lot about the truth. This was, oh, I always looked for the truth. Now he is telling about the truth. My truth never made me happy. My truth, I was beaten for my truth because nobody liked when I was fighting for my truth. And now he is speaking about the truth, something different. He's saying there is the absolute truth, truth for everyone. And I
Related.
was amazed. Yes, I was amazed to meet him. I was amazed to be there, to talk to him. Although my first experience with him was a lot of bumping into the wall. I think, oh, yes, I know, I understand. He says, you only think that you understand, but you don't understand. Oh, but I know, I understand. And then he continues explaining, and I say, oh, yeah, so this is like this and like that. And he would tell me, no, you try to grasp with your habitual mind. You are attached to your intellect, but we cannot know Dhamma with the intellect. We need to let go, to detach from what we know, and we should stop applying our habitual knowing to Dhamma. Only then we can understand Dhamma, because Dhamma is beyond all. Dhamma is not just what we know in our habitual life. Dhamma is beyond. Dhamma is liberation from all that we know. If Dhamma was the same as our regular knowledge, then first of all, many more people would know.
Yeah.
Then also, many more people would be happy and satisfied. And then it would be also so easy to get to Nibbana, to get liberated. But there are not so many liberated people. So I needed to really many times try, is it this? Is it like that? And he would tell me, no, this is wrong. No, you grasp too much. No, you are using your mind. You should not use your mind. How can I understand without using the mind? This was really for me. And I was trying hard to understand. But this is not this understanding. This is grasping. This is attaching. We should let the right understanding happen. Only when we are free from what we know, then the right understanding is there, it appears. So it took me some time to break through and to abandon my own self and my own clever mind to use. You know, clever mind is very useful, but I needed to abandon it. I needed to let go. I needed to trust the teaching of the monk, the teaching of Sayadaw, that the real understanding would come. And it started happening in this way. And then I already decided that even though I continue traveling, even though I continue for my experiences, but I should not forget about this place, about Tabarwa Center, about Sayadaw Tamasara. I should come back. I should definitely come back because this is something special and this is something really important. I had this feeling when I was listening to my teacher. I was, at that time, he wasn't my teacher, he was just another one guru
Yes.
who I met. But when I was listening him speak, I would, all my body would go forwards towards him. I really wanted to be as close as possible. I felt I want to become him with everything that he says. I could see his behavior. I could see his power of detachment. I could see his no self, not someone, just doing only, being only. And very, very special experience that amazed me. So I promised to myself that even though I go traveling, I will have new experiences, new excitements, new places, new people. But, and of course, those new emotions will be stronger than this emotion that I have now. This emotion will fade away. But I should trust myself. I should trust and remember that there is something really essential, really important. So I should get back to this. So even the emotion will not be there. I should remember this thought, this idea, and I should be faithful to myself and come back. I should promise myself. This is how I felt. And also now, when I know Dhamma, I know about the 10 paramis of the enlightened person. I know that there is one of the parami, aditana. Aditana is determination. When we have strong will, strong decision, and we will not do differently. We make our mind to decide strongly that this is how I will be. So at that time, even without knowing about Aditana, I made this strong determination for myself that I should come back to Tabarwa, to Sayadaw Tamasara, and I should learn more. And
So,
then, even though I stopped feeling,
okay,
I will just
continue.
finish a little bit.
Okay, continue.
Even though already I got tired of traveling and I decided to stop traveling, and I met somebody in Europe, in Switzerland,
Yes,
and I decided to stay with him and get married after 2 years of traveling. Still, I went back to Tabarwa already with my husband and with my older brother, who used to be my example before,
yes, yes,
but now I felt I can also give him something. I can show him the real truth. I can also teach him something. So I took my brother, I took my husband, and then I came back to Tabarwa, and then I continued practicing in my lay life like this.
you practice in your lay life too.
Yes, of course, I continued practicing and I continued to go back to meet Sayadaw in Asia and to take different meditation courses in Thailand, Burma. Every year I would go in the winter time for 2, 3 months like this till COVID started.
Yes, yes. So there is a concept in Thabarwa, part-time renunciation, part-time, we can become part-time nun or monk.
So in Tabarwa, I should tell you, there is a concept not to have concepts.
Yes,
So everything is possible. Sab kuch milega. Tabarwa is really like this. Sab kuch milega. You can be anyone. You don't have to put a label, a notice. I am a renunciant. I'm not a renunciant. I'm a half time. I'm a fool. I'm 70%. Whatever you can practice, you practice. You want to come and stay as a permanent member of Tabarwa, you come and stay and you live the life that is happening there, and you learn your experience and you do good deeds, you help others, whatever you can help, and you take help from others, whatever help you need. And as much as you want, you stay. If you feel that then you need to go to another monastery for some different meditation retreat or some learning, some teaching, you go. You want to come back, very flexible. Tabarwa is translated from the language of Burma as nature. So the idea of Sayadaw Tamasara about Tabarwa is to create an organization which is completely natural. Everything is nature, is not just trees and forest and river. Nature is the nature of things as they are. Everything happens in a natural way, no concept to apply. Exactly, he teaches us not to attach to any concept, because there is nothing that is fixed, there is nothing that is really existing and fixed in the life. Life itself is also not something really existing. This is just an idea about accumulation of many changes, many situations that we grasp together and we make it as life. But in reality of things as they are, there is just appearing and disappearing, just the change. So we need to be able not to attach to any concept, any discipline, time, place, situation, people. Nothing is to hold as stable and real. We should just use only. We should use every situation in life. We should just use time knowing that it is not real, knowing that it is subject to change, and that there is no self, no atta, only anatta. This is the same as we were planning this meeting. One day it happened like this, another day it happened like that. Time, we have both good intention, right? We know both the same idea, but some little factor comes and influences. Condition comes and it changes the whole thing. And it is natural. This is like this. If we fight this, it means we don't accept the things naturally. We don't accept nature as it is. We fight, we go against the nature, we try to grasp, we try to stabilize, but nothing is stable. Everything is coming and going and dependent on the conditions. Depending on the karma, cause will bring the effect. But then the conditions will also shape how this effect will happen. So we should try to be flexible and detached. This is what Sayadaw teaches, like the mainstream is to develop mindfulness with detachment.
So, what is mindfulness? How we can
Oh,
define it?
mindfulness.
How we can define it?
Mhm. This is already a very, very deep question, which is not at the level of words. Mindfulness comes with practice. This is not something theoretical. We can give an idea, we can direct, but only practice, because mindfulness itself is the practice, and mindfulness itself is also natural. We practice it as much as we can't have it naturally, but it actually, mindfulness is the state of the pure and stable mind. Pure and stable mind will have always the quality of knowing. So mindfulness brings the knowing, and it can bring the wisdom. But for this, for wisdom, we also need conditions, appropriate conditions. We need enough of karma for wisdom to arise. And how do we create this karma? What cause we should create? Exactly, we should be practicing mindfulness, mindfulness as knowing, mindfulness from one moment to another moment will be bringing samadhi, collectedness of the mind will be collected in one moment of knowing the present moment, and then in the next moment, and also in the next moment there is mindfulness. So the mind gets collected together, it doesn't go to many other thinking, get lost, or some sensations pleasant or unpleasant without knowing even whether it is pleasant or unpleasant, just lost in the sensations. So there is no mindfulness in this way. But if we know every happening, if we know there is a sensation, there is mindfulness having the object of the sensation. If there is pleasant or unpleasant or neutral, the mindfulness knows pleasant or knows unpleasant or knows neutral. If there is understanding about this knowing, the mindfulness knows the understanding. So mindfulness is just pure presence with experience of the present moment. Mindfulness is opposite from sleepiness, forgetfulness, unawareness. Um, so mindfulness is the presence, but this presence is not pure presence. This is how can I? This is really experience. This is something to experience. I might be giving words coming from my experience, but another person, the listener, can grasp the words in their own way, and then it will actually turn around what I try to explain. So this is what I mean, that when I'm explaining mindfulness, this should be experienced, not grasped as a concept of words, but tried to taste it. Like I can be explaining to you the taste of a strawberry, but you need to taste it to find why I use those words for the explanation. So words are not to grasp that this is like this. Words are to use only, just to use to appropriate your own experience. So this very mindfulness is taught in many meditation centers, that we need to be present and to have knowing mind. Mindfulness is not something durable, because everything changes, every moment changes. So mindfulness is something that comes in one moment. It is not directed by us. I cannot control mindfulness. Everything is dependent. Everything is arising due to the previous cause. So as a previous cause, there should be familiarity with the subject. There should be listening to Dhamma, to the right teaching. There should be this curiosity to know Dhamma, to understand our own nature. And then mindfulness, as a result of such knowing, listening, curiosity, mindfulness will arise. Mindfulness will arise to make it possible for you to explore, to know, to practice. So mindfulness arises, and then there is knowing with this mindfulness. So this mindfulness is taught at many meditation courses, but Sayadaw teaches something that many teachers do not tell. He teaches that mindfulness only is not enough. Mindfulness with detachment is complete. Because if we are mindful of knowing the hearing or knowing the seeing, but we do it with attachment, with grasping, we will try to possess the object. We will know the object as stable, real, everlasting, that we can have, possess, that we can influence, but this is wrong. So mindfulness should come with detachment, that any object that we know, it is impermanent. So mindfulness lets go of every knowing. Whatever there is known by the mindfulness, it is let go. It is not to hold, not to bring from one moment to another. New moment, new mindfulness, new object. Object can be similar to the previous one, also some form or shape, visual, or just knowing the scene, or mental idea, or some physical feeling. It can be one mindfulness moment with physical feeling, another mindfulness moment with physical feeling, another mindfulness moment liking. But then it can change also to uh, knowing about liking, or seeing something. Here I'm liking some physical sensation, but also seeing. So changing, always changing. And in the beginning, we start knowing mindfulness as I. But later, we develop also the understanding there is no I. This is not I who likes. This is not I who is mindful. There is only mindfulness that appears and disappears. It can appear, it can disappear. For some time, there will not be mindfulness, because we cannot control. Because according to cause and effect, another cause appears for mindfulness, the mindfulness will appear again. So this is a huge practice. This is huge effort to develop this mindfulness.
So coming back to your life, when you come from Burma, you decided to touch with Sayadaw and Thabarwa. After, how you decide to be a nun?
How we came to my nunhood, right?
Yes. Before I saw your video,
So
I saw your video before that you part time became a nun first. Is it right?
yes,
Yeah. Okay. So
yes,
tell us
correct.
about. Yes.
You studied me very well already. Right. Um, so I continued following the teaching of Sayadaw, because his teaching is very useful for daily life. It is not only for monks and nuns, it is for everyone. It is to know how to live correctly, how to use our life in the right way with the right understanding. And also for those who want to go deeper and who feel more experience of Dhamma, then they can become monks and nuns, to really detach from this lay life which doesn't bring us any value anymore. But
One
this is
question.
natural when we understand. Yes.
One question I want to ask: it is necessary to be a monk to go deep, or one can be in lay life and go deep also?
It depends only on the personal state of mind and the conditions. If the state of mind is the one that understands Dhamma and can practice in the right way, can really have mindfulness with detachment and can practice, then still this person would need the right conditions. Conditions should be supportive. If you have to struggle for your life, if you have to always fight with the society for right to work, to live, to use something, then your mind will not be able to be stable to practice. But if your environment is supportive, if you can be in the society but use it for your practice, for your understanding, use your life for helping others, creating good karma, creating good merits that will support you in your practice. You don't need to struggle to fight for something. Your mind can be relaxed, then you can be a layperson and you can practice deeply. But what happens when you become a monk or a nun is that you are provided with the conditions. Life is taken care of for you. There are people who work and they appreciate what monks and nuns do, and then they feel that they cannot live the lay life. They have so much attachment, but they want to support. So they will be supporting the place to stay, they will be supporting the food to eat, and you will have the Sangha, the other practitioners around you. You will have the other examples of what is right and what is wrong, because in Sangha you can also see what is wrong, not only what is right. There can be conditions where people not they don't support you by uh, creating comfortable condition for your mind, good cushion, good place to practice, good nice sleep so that you are rested. But there can be people that support you by bringing your karma come up so that you face your karma and you have to deal with it. But you deal with it in the place where Dhamma is living. In the society, you also have to deal with your karma, but you will not recognize it as karma. You will recognize someone is doing something against you. He's wrong, I'm right. I will need to prove him. I will need to do like this, like that. So society may bring a lot of misunderstanding for you and difficulties. But when we become monks and nuns, then somebody takes care of our life because they appreciate that we could abandon everything and devote our life to Dhamma. So then this is why this is helpful. But also in Tabarwa, Sayadaw accepts people to come and stay without becoming monks and nuns. And still you will also have a place to stay and you will also get food, but there will be still the difference that if you abandon your life fully, your mind is really free. It has nothing else but Dhamma. But if you stay as a lay person, you practice as a lay person in the community with others, but you are still a lay person. You still sometimes try to solve situations by not following fully precepts, maybe, or solving something just by money because you have more money, you can earn money, or some friend can borrow money for you. As a monk and nun, we can still have money, but we are not rich in money, we are rich in our experience. So we cannot rely on money. We cannot solve situations by money. We abandon everything. We need to solve situations only by knowing the condition of our mind. This is the difference.
Yes. So you can continue
Yes.
in your story.
Yes. So when I lived in Switzerland, I started my life with my husband. I still hoped to have children, to make a family. I was 33 years old, and I had hopes for better life, that I learned something. that I had my experience. Now also I practice meditation. It makes me a better person, a more balanced person, a more reliable person. So I believed I could be a good wife, a good mother, a good member of the society. And I was a housewife because I was new in Switzerland and I didn't speak French yet. In this part where we live, we speak French. So I needed to learn the language. So my husband was also kind enough and supportive enough that he didn't ask me to go working directly. I could be a housewife. And also, as I learned from my teacher, from Sayadaw Tamasara, that we need to be living our life not only for ourselves, only feeding me, I, mine, myself, my ego, but we need to use our life to do good deeds for others. So my husband also supported this idea that I could be a housewife and I could have time to go and do volunteering. I can volunteer in the society, help elderly people, help handicapped people. I can do for others. So I was doing like this. And I was always thinking that what I do, I share my merits also with my husband because this is thanks to him that I can have time and I can have this freedom to do good deeds for others. Because doing good for others creates good merits for us. If we have those merits, they support us to get what we want, what is really necessary for us. So I was sharing the merits also with my husband like this because he was busy working after all. But in a way, as much as I was adapting myself to this country, to this language, to this culture, which is very different, it is very different from India. I learned from Belarus, I came to India. I learned to be very simple. I learned that time doesn't matter. You can come later, you can come earlier. It's important that we talk, we discuss. If it's going, it's going. If it's not going, it's not going. And that everything is possible. If not in this way, then in that way. And if it's not possible, is also okay. We try some other time, maybe like this, maybe like that. Very flexible. And then I come to Switzerland, a very restricted country, very up to the norms, regulations, standards. Everybody follows all the rules. Everybody knows if you make A, there will be B. If you make A and B, then it should lead to C. Every next step is known in advance. Time is also important. Time is important that you cannot call me between 12 and 14 o'clock because this is the time that people take their meal, always at this time. So at this time, you should not disturb. Nobody will call on the phone. Many different aspects that I had to fit in after all the freedom that I got while traveling. I traveled not only in India, I traveled 5 months in India, then I went to Sri Lanka, then Thailand, then Burma, then Indonesia, again India for 3 months, then Malaysia, Singapore, 1 month here, 1 month there, again several months in India. India was taking more time always. So I was very free and I came to beautiful and very comfortable Switzerland, but I needed to squeeze myself into rules and regulations. So I was in shock. I saw how much people are restricted. What I learned, the freedom and how much we are flexible if we just flow with life. This was not applicable here in Switzerland. But with my practice of meditation, I understood that as a human being having this body and mind, if I grasp, if I attach, I will suffer. But if I try to go with the flow, if I try to accept and not to reject, then I will be at ease, whatever is happening. So I try to learn and accept that Switzerland is like this. I try to learn now to be free within the framework, to be free in the borders. My freedom is there because I follow these borders out of acceptance, not out of obligation, like this. So for me, this was also experience of Dhamma, trying to see that the world is different And how can I adapt? Because I know that nothing is fixed, nothing is only one way, everything is changing. So I tried also to change and apply myself to the life here. But this mentality, although we can say I'm a Westerner and you are coming from Eastern world, from India, from or Asian people, you are more similar and we are more different. But even Switzerland and Belarus are so different. I discovered like this. We are so different. So I came to see the mentality of my husband and of his family, which is so different from my mentality. And I had to learn to discover how to deal with this. So some
Different from Israel,
years we
different from Israel to different from
also
Israel.
very Israel India.
Yeah,
Israel is more similar to India,
yeah, yeah.
more flexible. But Israel is also similar to Europe because they know the high quality life, the high standard life, the high service. In India, it's okay. Just you eat, this is food, it's okay. In Israel, they will complain. They will complain if something is wrong with the food and you come and you pay. You need really good service. So this is similar with Europe, but this what is similar with India in Israel is that they are easygoing, they can talk to anyone, they don't hide many secrets. Whatever emotion they have, they will tell you whether they are happy or unhappy. They will shout at you if they are unhappy. They will give you many compliments if they are happy. In Europe, you never know, happy or unhappy. I'm okay. It's okay. I'm okay. And you never know what is inside. You never know. So it means that you should not try to satisfy the person, you should try to satisfy the rules because the person follows the rules and you just follow the rules. And then everybody is equal because everybody follows the same rules. Then you know to expect A or B or C. This is the way that we live in Europe. So if you function in the same way, I function in the same way. You have what you have, I have what I have. In India, I come to your home, you quickly make some tea, you bring me some snack, something like this. In Europe, I will not disturb you to come to your home. Okay? You don't disturb, you don't come to my home. And like this, we live in peace. If you come to my home, you shouldn't expect that I give you tea or coffee or something because you can have at your home, right? You know what coffee you like, you know what tea you like. Maybe what I have is different, not sure. So maybe yes, I can offer you, but maybe still you have your life, I have my life. Well, I exaggerate little bit, but this is also true. Not at every home you will get a cup of coffee. This is true. Not at every home you will get something. You come, you may stay in the corridor to discuss. Not sure that you will be welcome to come to the living room. Not sure. Because like this, you have the security that you have your own home. This is your protection zone. This is your relaxing zone. This is the way how you like, how you want, how you keep it. So if I start coming to your home at the time that is comfortable for me, I will create discomfort for you. So here we don't create discomfort to the other. Here we have a lot of security coming from the government, coming from our security system, assurance, like the health assurance also. We are all surrounded by comforts and by security and by fixed idea of how it is. So mind development here is very rare. I mean, intellectually, yes, but not spiritually. So I started discovering this all little by little, seeing how cold people are, seeing how difficult it is to build friendship, communication with people, that we don't just go easily in the street and we don't ask directions or any information. Better you look in the phone, the information, rather than you go and contact the people. You express so much surprise on your face.
We can't ask anybody from some address. Can't we ask?
What are you saying?
Can't we ask somebody to some address? I have to go.
You can, but you'd better first try to figure out yourself, because you will disturb the person. The person is in their head, in their thoughts, in their ideas. People are very polite. They will not send you away. They will say, hello, yes, you wanted to ask something? Oh, yes, sure, I will try to help you. Then they start developing this little talk, little conversation of politeness around this. And if you come, you should also say, hello, I'm very sorry. I am really lost here and I would not like to disturb you, but I do really have some questions that I would need your help. So you need to build around a lot of politeness before you ask a question. I
Okay.
myself felt victim to my own habit that in my country, in a supermarket, we know that uh, some shop assistants, they are there to assist you with information. So I would come and say, where is cheese here? Excuse me, where is the cheese? When I did like this here in Switzerland, saying, excuse me, to attract attention, excuse me, where is the cheese? They would tell me, bonjour, madame. It means, hello, lady. First of all, they would, hello, as if I didn't say hello. I said, excuse me directly. So first I need to say hello. Then I need like to say, I would like your help. And only then
Okay.
I would ask the question. Yes,
Lots of
like this.
formality.
This is
Lots
the
of formality we have to follow.
yes, because here we follow rules and regulations, and they secure the comfort of our life, the comfort of our mind. So here, just as yesterday, I met a Swiss friend who is Christian, but she looks much deeper than Christianity. She really tries to understand. For her, God is not some figure, is not somebody existing there and ruling everything. For her, God is the nature of happening, the nature, the law of happening. So for her, God, as I understand, is more like karma, really, like this, the law of happening. So she is a deep thinker, she is a deep experiencer. So she just told me yesterday, I was asking her why, if you have also deeper understanding in Christianity, if the church can offer answers to the questions of suffering to people, why this is not used widely, why people don't share with each other, why this is not applied for turning the life upside down, because this is what we do with Dhamma. We completely, fully change our life. We change ourselves, we change the view, we change our actions, we change the values, we change all in our life with understanding of Dhamma. Why this doesn't happen with Christianity? So she told me that according to her observation, this is because people have enough comfort in their life, so they don't need change. They fear change.
Yeah.
They are afraid of change. And she said, I have never been to Asia, but I think that in Asia, life is less comfortable, more hectic, and this is why people actually they don't hold so much to the stability of the things as they are. People are more flexible in Asia, and I agreed with her, and there is less comfort and more trouble with money, more trouble with security. So they are always looking for all different solutions, and this is why they are ready to make a change in their life. But here people are not changing. They try to stabilize more and more. So the older they become, the more they become rooted in their deep habits. And habit is very dangerous. Habit actually on our mind is what brings suffering. Habit is something that we attach as only this way, only like that. I am used, I want like this, I want like that. I don't want different, different is wrong, this is not right. And then we suffer. but life always brings some situation where it confronts our habit. So old people here, they suffer a lot because they're really attached to their way of doing, and they suffer that they lose already. They cannot work anymore because they are old. They cannot continue living in a big house. They have to move and live into some other place. So other place, other habits are required. They cannot continue doing in the same way. They have to be dependent on some help because they are old. And when help comes, this is not the type of person that they are used to be with. This is not in their habit. So many difficulties for old people. As I did volunteering, I was volunteering with the Red Cross. I was helping a lot elderly people. And I see how difficult it is for elderly people because they hold to something but it is no more. So they hold to their husband or to their wife because they build this life together in this way, but then their spouse dies, passes away, and they are alone and they can't accept the death of the other because they grasp that this is me and we are together and only this person knows how we do together and nobody else knows. So it is very difficult for him to shift to this old age and be dependent on somebody because with their money they are independent. They can pay every service, they can buy every comfort, but when they are old they cannot buy the comfort of their body. No money can fix the old age of the body.
There is no
So
tradition.
they experience
There no tradition of son take care of father and mother.
not this tradition. There are homes for elderly people where they can buy a place for the old person to stay. So they should have their own money. Usually they accumulate their own money so that at old age, old people can go to this house for old people. And then they have to live in the community. And then
They
they have to meet the other people. While all their life they tried to be by themselves. So there is a social system that they will send people to help, they will be kind and smiling, but you never know what is there in their heart. And old people, they want to speak also, they want to talk, but not everybody is ready to listen because there are many limits. So life here is very comfortable because you protect yourself. But deeply inside, people don't know the others, they don't know themselves. So this was my experience learning like this year by year and learning the mentality from my husband and from the family of my husband. I really wanted to have dinners together, lunch together with the family of my husband and share more. And I cook and you cook and we share and you come to me anytime. I give you tea, a cake, a cookie. But this was not the case. So I had to learn to restrict myself. And I could learn the comfort of this when nobody calls on my phone. This is very comfortable that nobody is calling. This is very comfortable that outside I go, nobody knows me, nobody talks to me. This is very comfortable in the end. I also learned this comfort. This went very well with my meditation. For my meditation, I need a bit restriction. I need a bit more silence. So this goes very well with my meditation practice. Like this, I could be applying the teaching of Sayadaw, practicing mindfulness with detachment, still attaching to some concepts of this shouldn't be like this shouldn't be like that. Then with mindfulness, discovering this, learning to detach, then um, doing good deeds, helping others. I could also do in this society, this is possible. Volunteering here is official, not that you go and try to help somebody, but there is official volunteering. They would pay me back if I use my car to come to the home of somebody, or if I pay for the bus, they will pay me back because I spend money. I should not spend my money. My money should be with me. So I do volunteering only by giving my time. Time here is very precious, giving time to somebody. So like this. So I was doing all this, but life wasn't easy because of this different mentality. And also, we discovered that there was some difference in me and in my husband, that also because of this mentality, but also out of family tradition, out of some habit. I'm very active. He is more reserved and quiet. And we could accomplish and be together like this in a good way. But there were also difficulties because of this, some misunderstanding. So I could practice this all with Dhamma. The more difficulties I was meeting in my life, I would always change the understanding that this is not the difficulty, this is the Dhamma that I should practice. So I practiced like this, and when I was coming to join Sayadaw in Tabarwa, then I would feel at vacations because everybody speaks the same language of Dhamma. Even though it is difficult, in Tabarwa we go, there can be some people with mental problems, there can be some people with deep habits, with some jealousy. Many people are jealous about Sayadaw because he is so great. We all to be near to him. We all want to be useful for him. So there can be also some competition, and this is difficult to accept too. But I was in the Dhamma place where, after all, everybody can see that this is life experience happening. While in Switzerland, in the society, everybody takes care only of this situation, not of Dhamma, not of the mind, but of this current situation. So when I was going to more difficult life in Asia, it was easier for me just because of the state of the mind, like this. So one time I ordained temporarily because I was traveling in Asia and I had some free time, and I knew there would be a meditation retreat in Vietnam. And I was talking to my husband, telling him that I don't know much, like where else to go, what else to do. He told me, okay, you can try to become a nun. This was even the idea of my husband, who told me, if you don't know how to occupy yourself, you can try to become a nun. So I said, okay, I will try. So I tried for 1 month. I told Sayadaw I want this experience for 1 month because he had offered me since he met me. Already in 2014, he told me you should become a nun. But at that time, I was not ready. But now, out of curiosity, out of some more practice, I said, okay, I will try. And when I become a temporary nun, it brought me already some very deep experience of Dhamma. It brought me deeper understanding suddenly. It changed my meditation. It brought so much more value to my practice, magically. Also, this experience of people respecting me, seeing a nun in me, seeing a renunciant, supporting me, also prostrating to me. It was so uncomfortable first when people prostrated to me, bowed to me, and I saw that ego is arising, saying, oh, they shouldn't do this. I'm just a temporary nun. I'm a European. No, no. But this is still I, self, that is arising and comparing. I am not high, but I am still somebody. So I could learn to see myself more and more in negative representation, but also in positive representation. There is self. So I should take, not that somebody is prostrating to me. I should take just happening, just respect of Buddha is happening actually, not me, not someone, but the respect of Buddha, of Dhamma. This is the true understanding. So this is some changes that happened on my mind, and also that deepened my meditation and deepened my understanding of mindfulness and deepened my power of detachment. And then Sayadaw, he was planning to come to Europe for the first time, and he told me that it would be very helpful if I continue to be a nun. I wanted to be a nun just for 1 month, but he asked me to continue for 1 more month because we were going to Europe, and it could be helpful to see that a European can also practice Dhamma, can also practice meditation, and can also become a nun. So I agreed with Sayadaw to continue one more month, and we came to Europe. We traveled in Germany, in Italy, in Switzerland, and I was a nun, and it was really helpful for local people to see, to ask questions also like you, how you became a nun, how did you meet Buddhism, and it was really helpful. And I was feeling myself, I'm doing what is right. This is my path. I was very satisfied to be a nun. But the strong attachment to lay life, the desire to come back to my life with my husband, even though already at that time we understood we would not have children, he was so busy with his work, his mind was going to work only. Also, a person who has this attachment, work, money, status situation. So he was very busy with work. He didn't have enough time for home, for his wife, for planning a family. So I abandoned already this idea to have children. I accepted that if it is not happening naturally, I will not try to force it. I will not try to change husband again. I will just accept that this is my life. It is like this. What can I do in this life? How can I be a better person? So I was just practicing Dhamma more and more, practicing that every happening is the result that happens in my life because there was a cause. Everything is karma. So I learned to accept and not to reject. I learned to see what it makes of me now instead of blaming the other. So more and more experience I was learning like this, and this is actually what shaped my mind, shaped my values in life, that more and more, whatever difficulties there would be in the family, I would practice more Dhamma. I stopped trying to make a family and make my husband be interested in the family, in the relationship, and I just started taking more and more time for Dhamma and letting him be and do what he does. He was supporting me to have home. He was supporting me to go to meditation retreats, my husband. So I felt grateful. I saw that life brings me more and more to Dhamma because my husband allows me to go for 3 months away from home and he pays for me so that I practice meditation because he sees what I'm doing is right. And he is not ready to abandon his habit of his work and his habit of standards of life as he imagines so that we could do something together. So I see that everything takes me more and more on Dhamma path. So eventually, from one temporary nunhood, when I disrobed because I was still attached to continue experiencing lay life, finally it took me to full understanding that my real path is fully Dhamma path, and that whenever I am with Sayadaw, whenever I listen to his teaching, it opens for me some new breath. I feel the breath is clean and full of this admiration of Dhamma that I started experiencing more and more by myself. I started having more deeper experience from Dhamma, more understanding of anicca, dukkha, anatta. And Sayadaw told me that now it is the time for you that you should ordain. You should ordain not temporarily last year, but you should ordain to be a nun. And like this, this will be new big step for your Dhamma. And like this, you can continue practicing and your power of detachment will be stronger so that you can fully detach from self, liberate yourself from self. And at that time, I was already ready. I played enough this lay life. I had enough of experience that what I can do with the society. This is all so unreal. This is all so artificial. And even if I try to do more good deeds, people will not accept because they themselves are limited. They do everything with the limit. And Sayadaw teaches us to do out of our limit. So I felt ready. So I told my husband that I would like to become a nun and I would like to go and ordain without any limit. And he just accepted. He said, I always knew that this would be your path. I always knew. And he said, anyway, I'm too busy with my work. And it was a difficult situation because we also told each other that we still love each other. Even though there were conflicts, even though there were difficulties, but we spent 10 years together. These difficulties helped me grow. These difficulties helped him also understand that maybe he is not that very family man, that he likes to be alone, he likes to be more reserved, he doesn't need this much sharing. He likes to help others, but then he wants to come back and be busy with what he is comfortable with. He's very much devoted to his work. He is a financial worker, he is an accountant, chief accountant. He's very professional, he knows his work very well. He also gives private lessons about lessons of mathematics or lessons of accountancy. So he's very interested in his work, but he's not much interested in other activities and in sharing and in devoting time to the partner. So this situation became kind of good for me, good for him, because he can be released to do just what he needs without paying attention to me around there, and he can support me to go and become a nun, which is very wholesome. So I always tell that my husband has been my teacher for these 10 years because he has been creating the conditions for me to live, stay, and practice, but he has been bringing difficulties for me so that I could disenchant in this life, so that I could abandon the idea to be a mother. I could detach from the idea to be a wife and a husband. I could detach from the idea to be a happy family and doing together someone with someone. There is no someone. Everyone is just experiencing on their own, but we cling and we attach to others. So he was offering me this detachment during all these 10 years, and I was learning from him a lot, applying the teaching of Sayadaw. So this all became together like this, and now Sayadaw offered to me to become a nun because I had some really deeper experience, and he told me your next step is nunhood. And I felt that this is really practice. Nunhood is not just changing this type of life to this type of life. Then there will be also attachment. I'm a nun, I'm like this, I'm like that. So, no, there shouldn't be attachment in anything. So, for me, nunhood is another step of practicing, another step for Dhamma only.
So now there is only already 1.5 hours, and this StreamYard is limited amount of time. So we can talk
Yes,
more after later, more deeper Dhamma.
yes, part by part.
Okay, so we can talk after because I think there is a time limit. 1.5 hours
Yes,
is already
okay.
been. Okay, so we can end now. Thank you so much to sharing your experience, and I like your
Big
teaching
pleasure.
way. I like your teaching way with your real life experiences. You apply how you apply Dhamma in your life, in your tiny situation. You teach like that. That is very interesting. I like it. Thank you very much.
I hope it is useful for others. Yes.
Uh, Definitely. Thank you. Thank you very much.